Hey, he wanted L.A. Instead, he'll be in Toronto to start the 2018 season. Kawhi Leonard warming up to the idea of playing for the Raptors, according to Adrian Wojnarowski. Now, earlier today, Toronto GM Masai Ujiri explained why he felt the deal had to be made for Kawhi, despite Leonard missing the majority of the season with an injury.
We've been doing this for how many years? You know, you can't continue doing the same thing over and over again. And when you get a chance to get a top 5 player, which it doesn't come very often, I think you have to jump on it. And I think we've given a chance to this team. We've tried to build it as much as we can. But at this point, we got to this level where this opportunity came in front of us and we had to jump on it. Without all this medical drama that there is, we have no chance of talking to a player like that. Zero. You have no chance. He would be in San Antonio, and we wouldn't have a chance to get him. This is why we have a chance, and this is the risk that you are taking. We've looked at some of the medical, like as soon as the deal was done, and the rest will depend on the physical that will be done shortly.
Risks and breakups. Now, here's the fallout. Raptors' DeMar DeRozan, by the way, former Raptor, the star posting this to his Instagram story after he found out about the Kawhi trade. Told one thing and the outcome another. Ain't no loyalty in this game. Sell you out quick for a little bit of nothing. Soon you'll understand. Don't disturb. Ujiri was asked about how it all ended and DeRozan's disappointment.
I had a conversation with DeMar at Summer League, and I really want to leave it at that. I think maybe my mistake was talking about what we expected going forward from him. So not necessarily talking about trade, but what I expect from him going forward, and I think that's where the gap was. If there was a miscommunication there, I do apologize to DeMar and his family and his representation. It's not what I meant, but maybe I should have handled it, better. So that's what I'm apologizing for.
DeMar, what do you think? Okay. This is DeRozan posting the facepalm emoji. Clearly not pleased with the press conference apology. NBA insider Brian Windhorst joining us now on SportsCenter. Wendy, how do you think Ujiri handled this situation with all the talk following the trade with DeRozan?
You know, I feel like he did exactly what an NBA general manager has to do. If he sees a trade that he likes that can make his team better, and I really do think this made the Raptors better, he's got to do it. And frankly, Kevin, sometimes if you're an NBA GM, you got to lie. And the word lie can be in a gray area. And whether he directly lied to DeMar DeRozan or not, he did what he had to do. This has happened for decades in the NBA. It's going to happen for decades more. The Clippers lied to Blake Griffin last year. This is just what it is. I think the mistake that he made was when they made the deal a couple of days ago, they didn't come out and be over the top effusive with DeMar DeRozan. But even if they had, he's just as traded.
All right, now let's go to the other side here, because now the Raptors have to deal with some questions surrounding Kawhi and his health. You know, he only played 9 games last year, dealing with that quad and some uncertainty about the extent of that injury now. What will the Raptors learn after Kawhi goes through the physical process?
Here's the thing, Kevin. We may not learn anything because the Spurs doctors 5 months ago said that Kawhi was clear to play. I'm not so sure that scans and imaging are going to tell us as much as getting on the court will tell us. And whether that happens next week at Team USA or they have to wait till the fall, that's what we're going to have to do to see what Kawhi Leonard actually is. I think a lot of people have spun ahead and said, is he going to stay long term? Before we can even think about Kawhi's free agency, we have to see what Kawhi Leonard can give the Raptors this year. And I'm not so sure anything in this physical is going to stop this trade, whether they like what they see on the scans or not.
I just want to see him on the court, regardless of what uniform, right? Because of all those questions, we'll see how this plays out. Brian Windhorst with us on SportsCenter. More NBA news coming your way. LeBron, since he signed in L.A., the Lakers have filled out the roster with some interesting free agents. The newest acquisition, the guy LeBron played with before.
Hey, this is a dominant big guy. He brings a recovering Achilles, proper attitude, and enough I don't give what anyone else thinks to a team that already has plenty of that. He sat down with Warriors reporter Chris Haynes today.
you had an interesting summer.
To say the least.
There wasn't, there wasn't a lot of offers out there. You're coming off of the Achilles injury, and day 2, you signed. You agreed with the Warriors, and the NBA community went crazy. What was that experience like, just watching?
I didn't really care. Honestly.
It didn't trip you out at all just to see?
It trips me out to just see, like, it's crazy, like, how angry people
Hey, not just fans, though. Not just fans. Players, too.
It's just kind of funny because before the whole thing started, I was kind of just, wasted. I was damaged goods, not a winner. Just everything negative. And as soon as it happens, it's like, well, he's too damn good to be, so it's just kind of funny how the narrative switches right away when, things don't go the way they expect it to.
What's the biggest thing that bothers you about how people perceive you to be?
I've become numb to it. Like, I put it like this: if you live your life to satisfy every person that critiques you, like, you'll drive yourself crazy. Like, you will never satisfy everybody in what they feel you should do, especially being in this position. You'll never satisfy. I don't care. I don't care. Like, I don't care, because anything and everything that's being said and going on is harmless. Like, I walk around with my head high and I walk around comfortable. I'm good. What they gonna do?
He doesn't care. But you can hear more of the man that doesn't care. DeMarcus Cousins, sit down with Chris Haynes. He will actually talk about things he does care about. That's tonight on SportsCenter at midnight Eastern Time. Linda Cohn, John Buchagras.
Porter Jr., the number 14 pick in the NBA draft, who hurt his back 3 minutes into his college career and then dealt with hip strains and back spasms in the lead up to the draft. The Nuggets say Porter Jr. has now had back surgery on his lumbar spine, and there is no timetable for his return to the game. Marcus Smart tested the waters as a restricted free agent and decided that, I'm going to stay put. 4 years, $52 million. Smart is staying in Boston. The Celtics were going to have a press conference to announce the deal, but then they discovered Smart was in the hospital with flu-like symptoms and needed an IV.
Hard to get.
The other breaking news, according to our Adrian Wojnarowski, the Thunder are sending Carmelo Anthony to the Atlanta Hawks, and then the Hawks will buy out Melo and allow him to become a free agent. Remember, Carmelo has a no-trade clause. The trade also involves the Thunder sending a lottery-protected 2022 pick to Atlanta for Dennis Schroeder. Last season was Melo's one and only season in OKC, and it was forgettable at best. He averaged 16.2 points per game, the only season in his career in which he averaged fewer than 20 points per. Our Adrian Wojnarowski joins us now. What is next for Carmelo after he is bought out by Atlanta?
Well, the Rockets are the front runner, Nicole, to sign him. He'll be waived. He'll pass through waivers, and he'll be able to sign anywhere he likes. He met with the Rockets and the Miami Heat in Las Vegas last week at Summer League, had permission from the Thunder to do so, but they have not informed any of the teams of a decision yet, but Houston is a strong front runner.
What's the timeline on when this decision could be made next?
Well, once the paperwork is done on the deal, it's filed with the league office. Again, be a 48-hour waiver process, which he'll pass through. And then, after that, he'll be able to formally commit. But it will be in the near future. Houston is enthusiastic about their chances to pair him with his close friend, Chris Paul, and obviously James Harden.
Of course, this all starts with the agreement between the Thunder and Atlanta to make this trade. Why does it work for both teams?
Well, especially for Oklahoma City. Dennis Schroeder, to get a starting level NBA point guard, 24 years old, to play, behind Russell Westbrook and at times with Russell Westbrook. They were going to essentially waive and stretch Melo's contract. That would have saved them over $100 million. The way they're doing this, they're still going to save over $75 million. But they get an asset now who can play with them this year. He's got 3 years left on his deal. He's a tradable asset in the future. But Billy Donovan, Sam Presti in Oklahoma City, they want to get faster, quicker, and they've done that with Schroeder. Tremendous opportunity for them to improve their roster. And now at Atlanta, with the arrival of Trey Burke and Jeremy Lin, Trey Young from Oklahoma, the 5th overall pick in the draft, this will become Trey Young's team very quickly.
All right, Woj, thank you so much. Coming up, one is the past, The other is the future.
Talk about the NBA. I'm like, which one is to do? Talk about barbecues? They want us to talk about barbecues. That didn't go nearly the way I expected.
No.
It was a great line.
We'd
too.
be great at that, by the way.
I'm pretty sure I would.
I'm surprised you call it barbecues,
Yeah,
I guess.
you're from New York. I don't trust you. All right, first quote. I needed to act to protect my teammates and myself from imminent harm. Said Thon Maker of his role in the brawl between Australia and the Philippines that earned him a 3-game suspension. Pablo, do you appreciate his explanation?
This smiling face has made a great effort at diplomacy here, but the problem with Mr. Maker's self-defense is that we have video.
We are trying so hard just to run this video.
We have gotten so much mileage out of this.
This is the one place where you're like omnipresent Filipino dropping this comes in handy. You get to watch this over and over again. Now, Thon Maker.
He's off screen, but
there he is.
What part of that seems, I mean...
By the way,
good sir.
He fights like soccer. I ain't seen him do a thing with his hands.
Like that.
What a strange play that was at the end.
Him doing some combination of a Street Fighter imitation / Chan Ho Park does not seem to jive with what he is describing in his note
hold
there.
on, though. Sometimes you got to keep the peace by fighting the war. So right there, all he's doing is keeping Filipino players off. Stop being a homer, Pablo.
Yeah,
he
right,
kept the Filipino players off at that point where he did it there.
Even though the Australians were the ones who started all
It may
of
have
this.
been, but he still had to defend. After Andre Blatche dropped out, he had to defend his homies. Then he got a little loose with it. Number 2, a sucker, by the way, because number 2 hit him when he wasn't looking and then ran away when he came for him.
Oh, how dare you defend that man whose name I don't know, but I will defend
What would
nationalistically
Mitch
anyway.
Blood Green say about that behavior?
Oh, that was a light slap in the back.
Yeah, just because he can't fight doesn't mean he wasn't trying.
Here's the thing.
Dude, that Andre Blatche
Andre Blatche. I can understand
they kicked
why
him out the NBA for that.
That wasn't even so much a kick as it was an attempt to ride the back of Andre Blatche. But he's trying to protect his teammates and himself from imminent harm because he also blames the security forces in that arena. I would just like to say, once and for all, thank you to those security forces for being so terrible. And thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, America.
Exactly.
For us running this again.
Now you have a sense of the three-dimensionality of the Filipino people due to your security-based incompetence. Including Andre Blatche. Mostly Andre Blatche. I guess I'll give him my jersey number. Said Kyle Kuzma about LeBron's son, Bronny, LeBron James Jr., wearing his number 0 in an NBA 2K simulation that was reposted by LeBron and created by Shady00018 on Twitter. What do you read into this?
That was 5 digits on that?
There were 5 digits.
This ain't somebody in Russia trying to sow discord?
If not for the handcrafted quality of this video that I want to show you, you might make that conclusion. Let's roll that tape, please, of LeBron playing with Bronny on the Lakers in NBA 2K.
Wow, that looks a lot like Bronny.
I mean, the production values on this, thanks to Shady 00018, are pretty
I have to say, and that's betting on a long LeBron Laker career. And the problem with it is it's also betting on, like, Lil Bronny being a late first-round pick.
It's also counting on LeBron James maintaining some amount of refusal to go home-itude.
Yeah, there's that.
Given that this would be in the future.
Yeah, but for Kyle Kuzma, I mean, they did give him your jersey, man. They gave you up. But understand this. Unless you are a perennial all-star by that point, in real life, they'll give up your jersey for Bronny, too. And let me tell you,
absolutely.
There is going to be no one safe on that roster if there's a chance to acquire Bronny and LeBron still balling.
One of the things that's most viscerally exciting to me about this simulated video is that now I don't have to imagine what life is going to be like once LeBron James Sr. retires. We're never going to have to go a day without a LeBron James in our life. Yeah. This family will remain the son of our universe, and I am so thankful to Shady00018 for reminding me of as much.
I'd also like to note for Bronny, I don't think you want to be on LeBron's team. I think you'd rather play against LeBron.
Ooh.
Now, here's the difference. Here's the difference.
Okay.
If you play against LeBron, you play him somewhere between 2 and 4 times a year in the regular season, maybe the postseason. If you're on LeBron's team, He's going to dunk on you in practice every single day. The world won't see it, but your peers will, your coworkers will. They're going to be the ones see you getting yammed on by your pops all the time. You don't want that.
The bad news is that his dad is absolutely planning this. 4 years from now, Bronny will be 17.
You don't want to turn your gym into a driveway. Next question. Or next quote, rather. For him to be as dull as he is, there is never a dull moment. Said DeMarcus Cousins about Klay Thompson. Let's listen.
Just to put this out there, my favorite by far is Klay. I mean, our short time together, you know, in the summers, like, for him to be as dull as he is, it's never a dull moment. So,
Pablo, is that an accurate description of Klay?
I feel like it is, and even referring to Klay as dull feels a little over the top to me because he is, I think, everyone's favorite Warrior within the Warriors. You hear stories about this guy being told by... He missed practice before. He overslept practice the day before he dropped 60. And everyone, including Steve Kerr, just laughs about it. The guy plays chess. The guy reads newspapers at his locker before games. The guy loves going to
How much credit are we giving him for reading the newspaper?
He is a millennial reading a print product. I give him so much credit for that. The guy is a weird dude relative to his peers, and here he is, of course,
losing
in China, being destroyed by that woman.
Losing. Yes, he is losing. The thing is, he is dull. Like, we really, there's no way around it.
As a quote, he is dull.
But no, as a basketball player, there's no real excitement with Klay Thompson. Except for when he goes for like 35 and a quarter. Like, that's
how dare you call this dull?
No, but that's like, I think that's important what Cousins is talking about here. Like, look, he's a spot-up shooter who does the little things on defense and stuff like that, but there are no, oh my God, Klay Thompson highlights. The Klay Thompson highlights are just Klay Thompson hitting shots, except when he's hot, he can hit shots to the tune of 60.
Right, with like 13 dribbles or whatever it is. But that's the reason why he fits so well on this team and why he's so beloved. He is a superstar kind of player who doesn't really behave like a superstar.
He's not a superstar.
He's the second best shooter of all time, probably.
He's scared to shoot layups.
I will buy Klay Thompson stock and remain an owner of it. Last quote. Today was the first time in my professional career that I was called the N-word on the field. Wrote MLS striker Adama Diomande on Instagram. Diomande plays for LAFC, and he claims a player on the Portland Timbers, who he reported but did not reveal publicly, called him the N-word at some point during the game. What do you think of how Diomande is handling this, Bobani, and how should the MLS handle it?
Yeah, I don't know how to deal with these things or how I should respond to the way that he dealt with it. Like, there's a certain part of me that's uncomfortable with the idea of, like, you reported it or whatever, you come tell us here, we don't know who you're talking about, it's kind of vague in this. And I have to come to terms with the fact that we are now in societal times where you can't respond to this in ways that people responded back in the day, which is scrapping it out, right?
No, that's frowned upon.
Right, like in this setting and what you have to do, you have to go through, I guess, all these protocols. So he said that he reported it and they're going to do something or whatever it is. But the worst part about this for somebody like this in the situation that he's in, there aren't a lot of dignified measures of recourse. Like all he can do in that moment, based on everything that's around him truly, is take it. And that's the worst part. And that's why if the MLS gets it, they got to hammer down on it unless you're going to let them scrap it out about it.
Part of the problem with being a diplomatic and thoughtful body that urges you to take bureaucratic recourse is that you're enforcing a respectability that actually protects the guy who did do this to him. And the MLS, it's worth noting that this wasn't an MLS event, which complicates things, but in the past, MLS players have had about 3 game suspensions.
Yeah, let me tell you, this don't complicate nothing for the MLS. If they want to do something about it, they'll go do something about it. I don't care what rules or anything else. And something like that, if you want something done, something is going to be done.
Hey, kids, when you can't watch, you can listen to this show on Apple Podcasts and the ESPN app. Bomani's show, too. And mine, do you know who I am?